what I can do. But it gets all its look. I think the piece gets most of its look from the drawings. Because if you could see them without drawings, they would just be big squares. And they're called texture maps. And they're just 2D put on three-dimensional, virtual space in the computer that it supports. But, almost any 3D software, you could easily put this together. And it's kind of like a house of cards. That's why I wanted to look kind of lo-fi, the way things are just kind of stacked together, easily looking knock them over. And, even though it's using this technology for you not to pay too much attention to it, or you kind of get lost and hypnotized into the drawing, or into I like to call it 2.5D. It's somewhere between the 3D and 2D space that you're being pulled into. And it takes time, like after a while into the music, I think you sort of get in this place. And that's kind of what I was looking for. So, other questions? Thanks. Anyone?
Do you want to say anything thematically about your piece?
Well, the idea, there's a couple influences for the idea. One came from some films that were influential in me, live-action films. Personally, there's this character who's playing guitar. His arms look like he's falling off. That's representative of a country singer named Townes Van Zandt. And some of you might be familiar with him. The piece generally is about wealth and decadence, eroticism, and being trapped inside it. That's really, there's this film called Exterminating Angels by Louis Buñuel. I think it's made in the 60s, but it's black and white. And it has a surrealist tone, and they're trapped inside the mansion, and their maids hold them captive, and they can't leave. Because, actually all the doors are open, as I recall. They can't recall how to get out, so there's all these ridiculous, absurd efforts to try to get out of their own demise, which is being caved in by wealth. And I kind of link this to a certain economic situation. This piece is about 1.5 years old. I've redeveloped it a couple times. But it certainly relates to the economic collapse too, and the sort of denial. And just being trapped by your own illusion, hypnotizing into your own illusion. So there's that general aspect. And for Townes Van Zandt, he was a country songwriter who was mentally ill. He actually had not a lobotomy, I think electroshock therapy back in the time when they still did that. And he would have inherited millions and millions from his family. He owned a town named after them in Texas. And he eschewed all his wealth and gave it all away to become a country singer-songwriter. And he actually died destitute, poor, living in a trailer, living in filth. And there's a little bit of the incarnation of Townes Van Zandt in this, and through the music, and through this kind of, position that I play these instruments in. So I'm obviously an amateur in a way, like I play too many instruments. I'm not really good at one.